I have a better idea.
Let's make it 50.
Pay me to sit on my couch in my underwear and do nothing. Oh wait, people already do that. I'm sorry. Hi everybody, Neil Winteregg here with Matterhorn Business Development. Welcome back to the Newsroom. Today I am joined as usual with my number one guest, Dr. Greg Winteregg, author and CEO of Matterhorn Business Development, and my dad, so he has to be in every episode.
That's right.
So today we're going to talk about something that's a little bit unique, something that has been in the news a lot. I don't have a specific news article talking about it, but it's something that
everybody knows.
Everybody knows. But I want to talk about the $15 minimum wage that is supposedly going to revolutionize workers and the workforce.
Middle America.
Yep, it's going to change middle America because, as you know, all the money in the world or all the money in the U.S. is owned only and specifically by giant corporations. That's right.
And we need to take it away.
Evil bastards. Because having money is bad,
Yeah.
right? So anyway, I wanted to talk about it because I keep hearing about it. And again, we like to keep things from a business perspective, not a political perspective. It's just that nowadays with already somehow 2 years from now, there's going to be another election and everybody's already, up about the election, right? So I can't not hear about this crap all the time. So I want to talk to you about it because I think $15 minimum wage sounds great, but there's all of these materials and data, and for the uninformed, they don't realize how things work and what that would do to America.
Yep.
And so I wanted to get your take on it.
Yeah. Well, there are consequences. So I'm not an economist. I've just been in small business.
You can laugh at us in the comments as always.
Yeah. Make fun of us. We're uninformed, whatever. But I was raised in the restaurant business, so I've been in business my entire life, except for the 8 years when I was in college and dental school. I don't know, I think when I was growing up, date myself, I think in the 60s I was making 50 cents an hour, all right? And
You should have had $15.
Exactly. And one summer job, I remember during college, I was making big bucks, man. It was $4.50.
Wow, that's actually pretty dope.
And then you can sit back and you can do, okay, well, with inflation and all of that, and now minimum wage is like around $7.50. I think maybe in Florida here it's $7.25, and if back then it was $4.50, but that wasn't minimum wage. Minimum wage was like, I think $2.25.
Okay.
But I was making $4.50 because I went to a place where I was going to work harder and get paid more, et cetera, et cetera. So now if we just think from a business standpoint, we're going to double minimum wage. Let's just say from $7.50 to $15, all right? Well, where is that money coming from? The one idea is, well, it's gonna come from the rich owner.
Right.
All right? But that money then is either gonna do one of two things, several things. It could bankrupt the business and it just closes.
Yep.
Because the margins aren't that great. It can get people fired, and the existing employees then, the ones who stick around, are going to have to work twice as hard. Okay, I could maybe think with that. Or first thing I'm going to do as an owner is I'm cranking up the prices.
Yeah, and that's exactly what's going to happen. Is that everybody wants their cake and wants to eat it too. And we love being able to go to the grocery store and buy loaves of bread for buy one get one free. We want all these goodies. We want all this free crap.
Yeah.
We want our Netflix subscription to be less than $12 a month, and we want all these things, and we want to make our $15 an hour while working less and asking for reduced work weeks and things like this. Now, the problem is that every time the expenses of the business go up, you have to compensate by increasing your prices.
Or go out of business.
Right, which means that you either go out of business or the gallon of milk that you're now paying $4 for goes up to $5.50, which means that your minimum wage increase actually did nothing.
It got you nothing.
Yeah. Now also, it's small businesses that are affected the most by all of this stuff. Now,
Yes.
I don't disagree that large companies like Amazon and Google and Apple, whatever, they could technically pay their employees more and still not really be that affected by it. But you see, everybody's attacking Google and everybody's attacking these big companies when they actually bring about all sorts of tax benefits to areas, etc. But they make up such a small percent of the United States workforce.
Yes.
They are not the majority. We drive by on the freeway, we see the 1 million square foot Amazon warehouse, and we think 1 million people work in it. No, it's shelves of junk. It's not people. It's machines. Exactly. They're robots.
Well, now let's take a look. Let's just talk about the robots. Okay?
They have feelings too.
Well, let's talk about the robots. All right? So if you're Amazon, you can hire smart people and pay smart people $100,000 a year to create the robots, and then the robots run, and everybody's seen the video. If you haven't seen the video, it's amazing. Yeah. The robot runs around, it picks up the crate, it takes it over in front of a person. When that person's done with the crate, the robot takes it and puts it back. Why do we not have people doing that? Well, because we have to have health insurance and taxes and Social Security taxes.
Because we keep bringing these restrictions about.
And then we have to have sick days. I mean, I talked to a fellow 2 days ago who's from California, very upscale fellow, IT programmer, makes a lot of money for a major company, and he lives in California. He is on a 4-month paternity leave. He is getting paid his full fee, which is 6 figures, by the government to not work because his wife had a baby.
Yep.
Now that is a really cool benefit from him, but my God, it bankrupts a state.
Yeah.
So there are consequences to this, and now, it's been $15 an hour, $15 an hour. Last night I read one of the congresswomen says, let's make it 20. I got a better idea. Let's make it 50.
I have a better idea.
Let's make it 50.
Pay me to sit on my couch in my underwear and do nothing. Oh wait, people already do that. I'm sorry. So here's another thing I want to point out, okay?
These numbers are amazing. You got to listen to this.
So this is from a website called SBE Council, Small Business and Entrepreneurship Council. And these are some facts and figures. And according to data from the Census Bureau's annual survey of entrepreneurs, this says there were 5.6 million employer firms in the United States in 2016.
Okay.
Firms with fewer than 500 workers accounted for 99.7% of those businesses.
Fewer than 500.
Fewer than 500.
So
0.3%
have more than 500.
Have more than 500. So Tesla, GM, Ford,
IBM, whatever.
The big companies have more than 500
More than 500 employees.
That's
0.3%. Okay.
Yeah. Firms with fewer than 100 were 98.2%.
Wow. Fewer than 100.
Fewer than 100.
Okay.
Firms with fewer than 20 was 89%. So fewer than 20 workers in a business or a corporation, business really at this point. We're not really talking about corporations.
No, it's that point, no.
We're talking about mom and pop.
Small business.
This is what drives America.
Right.
89% of the employers in the United States. If you take that up to $15 an hour, you actually negatively affect 89% of Americans.
And you can talk about, well, what about this person? Their lifestyle is going to change. It's going to go from $7.50 an hour to $15. Look at them. What about the $7.50 an hour person that gets fired?
Yeah.
What happens to them?
Yeah.
We have more unemployment. We have more government welfare. I mean, there's a natural selection process. Business is the survival of the fittest. And that's the prices kind of settle in, the fees settle in, the wages all settle in.
Now, I am all for people getting paid and being able to survive and make a living and pay for diapers and pay for their cell phone bill. I am all for all that stuff. And I think that there probably needs to be more work done for, basic living conditions for certain people or whatever, right? But here's the thing. People that work hard and take care of their money and take care of their families are always going to be kind of secured. But as soon as we start mandating these things for people that are unwilling to work, then it starts to negatively affect everybody. And I think that that's really, I saw an interview yesterday. This is sort of on topic and sort of off topic, but just on this line, right?
Okay.
LA County has 56,000 homeless people.
Okay.
Living on the streets and the tent row and all that kind of stuff, right?
Okay.
They refuse to work and they refuse to do anything for themselves. And now it's becoming like more and more of like, okay, we have to help these people, which we talked about.
Yes.
in our previous video, people have to be willing to work to be able to exchange something, and there needs to be more programs like that.
Right.
But as soon as you start just like mandating all these things, it actually hurts people who are working,
right,
and rewards people for not working, which means I'm better off not working than I am to work, which is a complete influx. It's just like, it's totally backwards.
Well, I saw a video once, and I don't know which college this was, but a college professor was getting upset with blowback from students about grades and the curve and all of that. And I think it was at a liberal university. So he said, okay, well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to practice grade equality.
Yes, I remember this.
All right? So what we're going to do is we're going to give the test, and then everybody in the class is going to get the average.
Yep.
So we're going to practice grade equality.
And how many students signed up for that?
So, well, this is just what he mandated. So there are people in the first test who worked really hard and got A's.
Yep.
And then there were people who did nothing and got an F.
Yeah.
So the people, and I don't remember the exact, but the people who got A's got a C, the people who got an F got a C, and so now we have grade equality.
Yep.
And for the next test, nobody studied.
Yeah.
Because the people who got an A say, well, it doesn't matter.
I'm just going to get a C.
And the people who got an F,
anyway.
and so then everybody got a D.
Yeah.
So it
Thanks, college.
So here's the bottom line. Production needs to be rewarded.
Yep.
The best employees need to be rewarded. We've talked about it before. I always have a bonus system, and when the company does better, then the employees do better. And if the government comes down and gives me a mandate, and I'll give you an example, it was the late 80s, and the government mandated all of this mandatory sterilization equipment. It cost me $5,000. In dentistry.
Yeah.
It cost me $5,000. New uniforms, new dental instruments.
And this is in the 80s.
Yeah.
By today, that's probably $15,000 or $20,000.
I had to put a washer and a dryer in the staff lounge so that we could wash the uniforms.
And you guys used it all the time.
And use it all the time. And so then I'm talking to friends, other dentists, and like, oh, wow, this is going to kill me, man. You know, it's costing me this much. And so like, I'm charging. Oh, you can't do that. You can't charge people. I said, well, the heck I can't. Here comes the mandate. So when the government says airbags have to go into the car, GM didn't eat it. The car went up by $500. So I printed a letter that went to my patients and explained all the changes that we had made, and we now meet or exceed the OSHA standards, and there's an $8 charge at every visit. And I had a consultant tell me I was crazy, that I was going to upset people. You know how many people got upset?
One. Boom!
One. And guess what?
Thank God Yelp wasn't around then. You would have felt it.
He was a multimillionaire, ran a big company, and he's like, what is this $8? And I said, well, you know, I can take the gloves that we're using today and put them in your chart and keep them so that they're here the next time. They might be a little gross by then. And he kind of got it. And then what's interesting is for his next appointment, he brought me an article from the Wall Street Journal. There was an oral surgeon in Manhattan who was charging $18. So all of a sudden, I'm looking like cheap.
You're the nice guy. You
I'm the nice guy.
$8.
But I refuse to get dictated to and regulated into going out of business. So then I'm going to raise my rates, I'm going to raise my fees, and in this day and age, if I would have to lay people off, I'm going to have to lay people off. And I'll tell you what's happening right now. You can go online, you can find the videos. Robots are being created and built that can do these jobs. And you're going to walk into a McDonald's, and it's happening right now at airports. You and I see it.
I hate airports.
And here's an iPad. And you this is the restaurant. There's 10 restaurants around you, and you punch, you order, they bring your food, you swipe, you pay, and nobody
you know what
gets
the consequences of that? The service is total crap.
The service is crap, and there's fewer workers. They don't get tipped. What am I tipping them for?
So when you swipe your credit card, and all I've done was order everything off the iPad. By the way, the credit card machine never works. It takes me 10 times, and I have to call somebody over. Anyway, so when you swipe, and I've ordered everything on my iPad, and it has the tip percentage is always at 18%. I always drop it down to 10%. I never tip less than 18%.
Right.
I mean,
except when the server doesn't do anything.
except when the person doesn't do anything.
All right, so now what is driving this? Well, it's mandatory health care, mandatory this, mandatory that, and just like mandatory paternity leave. Okay, that costs money. There are consequences.
Yep.
So for me, that was the point. I love your stats. 89% of small businesses have 20 or fewer employees.
It's amazing.
And you go ahead and double the minimum wage and think there aren't going to be consequences, you're high.
Yeah.
You're on drugs.
Just think like your favorite coffee shop, your favorite restaurant, your favorite tailor, your favorite shoe store. Most of these are probably independent or small businesses.
Yep.
In reality, 90% of the places that I go to are small businesses.
Yeah, family owned.
Family owned. Okay, so imagine that that's not there anymore.
Yeah. Where do you go?
And where do all those employees go?
Right.
Right?
Yeah, it's bad. So I guess the point that I wanted to make today is, on the surface it sounds great.
Yes.
All right, but if 89% of businesses in America have fewer than 20 employees, there are drastic and dramatic consequences that will affect everyone.
Yep.
So this is not a political statement.
Nope.
This is just basic business. Stand back, take a look, take a deep breath, pump the brakes on this. Free enterprise actually works.
Yes, it's the right way to go.
Yep.
And there's a lot of things that if they were given to the free enterprise, healthcare systems, things like that, they would be better off than with all of the mandates and other crap that is in there. The entrepreneur is always quicker and faster than a big multi-headed beast.
Yep.
So.
And I've said it before on video, and I'll say it again. The legislator has not been born that can outsmart the entrepreneur.
Right.
You go ahead and make a regulation. We're going to figure it out.
Yeah.
There will be consequences.
But there's a
we'll
point where, $15 or, of this 89%, some of them are going to figure it out.
Yep.
People like you, I'm going to charge an extra $8 for this, do that, whatever. But a lot of people won't.
Yeah, and some are going to go under, and that's a consequence.
Yeah. So those are our thoughts. I hope you guys, we went a little bit longer than we normally do, but
comment about this. Give us your feedback.
I want to hear some feedback on this stuff. Tell me how stupid I am. Doesn't matter. Anyway, we'll see you next time on the Newsroom. Like, subscribe, leave your comment down below. Tell us what you think. We'll see you next time.